Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where surprisingly, all of our repairs are going to be done before the financial report. I don't think I even looked at that last episode. I was just expecting that we would not be deploying again this month tick, but here we are. So we're going to tick forward here just a couple of days. And that's all of the work orders complete. Fantastic. Let's double check the mech bay. There shouldn't have been any internal damage last episode, so I'm pretty sure we're completely fine here. Yeah, we're going to hop over into the command, or not the command center. What am I doing? We need to go into the barracks because we need to check to see if Kodiak requires any additional points here. So let's see what we've got here.
Receiving you.
Yes, actually, we can get a point of guts. Beautiful. So we'll do exactly that, and then we'll just hop into the command center. We are already ready to deploy, so that is fantastic. We're doing fine on cash, so we could maybe think about doing the hardest missions that we've done yet. This is a recovery mission here. Defend base, battle, target acquisition. We'll pass on a target acquisition. I can tell you that right now. Recovery might not be awful. This is a full-on 10-skull mission. This would be the toughest that we've done. It doesn't have the highest of max pay. And no free priority salvage. So this compensation is not great. The reason that we'll be doing this is for the 10-skull. That said, with low compensation, I am expecting this to be on the easy side of a 10-skull. So let's see how that goes. We're going to deploy all of the same mechs that we deployed last mission, so this will be absolutely fine here. And let's just see how a low compensation 10-skull difficulty feels. I don't actually expect to get that much real compensation here, but this is also just kind of a freebie, right? We weren't expecting to have another mission this month tick, so that's completely fine. We are very, very okay with that. Reloading your save because you lost a mech? No. Why would I do that? That's not a thing that happens. We've lost plenty of mechs. Not for a while, though, now that I think about it. We've had mechs, like, we've kind of been taking preventative measures for that, right? We've lost a few mechs, sure. Like, we lost the Annihilator and the Salamander, I think it was, a while back. To airstrikes? No, it was the Atlas. It was the Atlas. Yeah, that happened. We didn't full-on lose them, though, and we've kind of taken to ejecting the mechs when they're in that super danger point, because it's just cheaper, so. No real reason to reload a save because you lose a mech, in my opinion. So we need to retrieve the Rasselhag's double-crossing scientist and escape. A scientist for a Rasselhagian conglomerate has turned industrial spy to a rival corporation from Karita. She was privy to numerous industrial secrets that we would prefer not to fall into our competitors' hands. The Cretan leadership has offered to sell her back, but we intend to use the false hope of negotiations to buy you time to extract the scientist through more proactive means. I think I've lost track of how many layers of betrayal this represents. Is this a quadruple cross? This must be some scientist. Indeed. Okay, so big long land bridge here. And the facility is on the other side of that land bridge. I don't really like this landing position at all.
This whole planet could use an air conditioner.
That said, we could theoretically cross over here in the water on the bridge, or over here. We can actually spawn over here most of the way across. We're not going to have LOS on the actual facility, though, and I think that's probably a bad plan. We could spawn here. There's no cover. Are we expecting turrets? I think usually not in a recovery mission. We can go ahead and deploy over this way. We could deploy in the deep water. What could possibly go wrong? No, I don't think that's going to happen. There's absolutely no cover. That's the primary issue right now, right? There's just no cover. So we're going to have to brute force in if we're going to do this. Something along the lines of this. And we're just going to have to juggernaut forward. So we immediately see a rifleman. What is this, an Owens? No, it's a catapult. That's a little small for a catapult, but sure. A Victor as well, sure. Nothing too major here. In fact, we're going to reserve and let them move first. We are, after all, braced, so we shouldn't take too much damage, and we're all facing the correct direction. The rifleman moves up, goes for the Fafnir, only does 35 damage. So that's fine. We're going to reserve one more time.
Holding for the right opportunity.
Apparently this is a support lance 1, so we're probably expecting more enemies than just this lance. Okay. They're still going for the Fafnir here. And that wasn't the catapult that moved there. We're going to reserve one final time. So, Rifleman Grand Dragon catapult. Okay, sounds good. Interesting positioning for the catapult there. It didn't fire. So, we move up with our Fafnir.
Confirm.
The obvious choice here would be the catapult, right? Yeah, that's going to be our best bet. We're going to Warlord. Our hit odds aren't great here. We're going to drop our UAC 20s down to 1x.
Acknowledged.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. That went about how I expected. Now, they do have another mover here, which does indicate that there is definitely another lance on the field. And that was actually a lot of damage into the Fafnir there.
Important major armor loss.
So that was a Pendragon? Okay.
Yes, Commander.
So the Bull Shark is going to move up here.
Moving out.
I think that the most threatening mech on the field that we've seen thus far is indeed the Pendragon. So we're going to start dropping artillery on that. Not the greatest shot I've ever seen there. A Crockett. Okay. It doesn't fire. That's a Gauss rifle and a couple of heavy PPCs.
I can't take much more of this.
That's certainly a big boy. That came from a Marauder 2 out there. Okay, sure. That's fine. So our Mauler is going to step forward here. I was hoping we could get past these guys. Sadly, we cannot.
Coordinates received.
64% on that Victor, huh? That's not terrible on the hit odds. 23 on the Catapult and 23 on the Marauder 2. Yeah, we're going to hit the Victor here. We're going to Warlord. And let's see how much damage we get done. We took out his SRM-4, I guess.
When I shoot you, you'll take it.
So that's fine.
Ready for order.
Our longbow can step up. And what is the longbow's best bet going to be? Hitting the Pendragon? Probably not, actually. The hit odds are mediocre at best on the Pendragon. The Victor. Or the Marauder 2. I think we're more likely to get a kill on the Victor, so we'll just go for the Victor for the moment.
Roger.
We got an engine and a gyro crit there, and took out a heavy jump jet, but we didn't destroy the Victor. Okay, that's fine. The Boar's Head is going to move up.
Advancing, I guess.
This Pendragon is still the most threatening target, so we're going to continue to drop artillery on that.
Okay.
Reasonable hits there, getting some armor removed. Okay.
Commander?
Our Annihilator is going to walk up. I want the Annihilator, ideally, to hit the Victor here. And yeah, that's going to be our best bet. We're going to Warlord. Do we want to fire Slug or Cluster ammo here? I think that we're going to fire Cluster, just because of the crit rolls.
Affirmative.
So that's a torso destruction. Multiple engine crits. And a knockdown on the Victor. But the Victor isn't down yet. Well, it's down, but it's not gone. It's very close.
Ready to
The Madcat Mark II can move up and finish the job.
Roger that.
We're going to eliminate the Victor here. That is one very dead Victor. Beautiful.
Hostile removed.
Next, the Salamander is going to step up here. I would like the Salamander to be a little bit closer. I guess this will have to do.
Time. Let's go.
I don't love this position, but it'll be fine. We're going to Warlord to boost our hit odds, and are we better off firing AX rounds here? The answer is most likely. 37% to 56%, so we're losing essentially 20% hit odds. Yeah, we'll fire the AX.
Got it.
So we took out one of its enhanced LRM-15s.
For the critical hit.
Okay. So that's a longbow. Firing on our Mad Cat, and getting a lot of hits there, actually.
Losing armor left and right here.
Indeed. Next up is going to be our Salamander again. So the Salamander is going to move up over this way.
Position confirmed.
And we're going to hit the catapult, this time with improved rounds. This is likely going to be, well, this may be a kill, depending on what's in this torso.
Fire
And the leg. What's in the leg. Yeah, that's a kill. Perfect. So that's 2 mechs down.
Vic, destroyed.
What moves next? Again, our major problem right now is a lack of cover.
Reporting minimal damage.
Phase 17. Who's going to move? The Pendragon doesn't move until phase 11, and it did overheat last round. This is the Grand Dragon. Continuing to fire on that Fafnir. And kind of to be expected.
Losing lots of armor.
Indeed.
Standing by.
The Madcat Mark II is going to move up slightly here.
I copy.
And we could fire on any of these. So, 29% on the Grand Dragon, 29% on the Crocket, 38 on the Longbow. Looks like the Longbow is our best hit odds here. So we'll take that. We're going to Warlord to boost those hit odds a little bit higher. And let's see what we get done to this Longbow. That's a lot of MMLs.
Fire.
We did get a head hit there. Okay.
Waiting on you.
Our Mauler is going to close in a little bit here. Once again, we're going to look at hit odds. So, 18% and 18%. This direction is the safer direction for us to fire, and our hit odds are low, so we'll just see what we get.
Affirmative.
Whoa!
And stay down.
Did we hit the head? Whatever that was exceptionally lucky. I didn't expect to get a hit, let alone a kill. But sure, we'll take it. The Longbow's going to move up here.
Moving to position.
Decent hit odds on the Marauder 2. Mediocre on everything else. So we're going to hit the Marauder 2 here. And we'll get some armor stripped off of it.
On it.
That's some good armor strip.
Good to go.
And our Fafnir definitely needs to move up here. We would like to have it not take additional damage if we can at all help it. We're going to Vigilance the Fafnir, and we're going to fire on the Marauder 2. All we can fire is the MRMs, but that should make it unsteady. Now it moves next round, so I don't know how useful that'll actually be. That said, the Annihilator moves now, and the Annihilator's hit odds are certainly going to be best on that Marauder. There's no way around that. This is absolutely going to be true. So we're going to fire on the Marauder. I think we're going to continue to fire cluster rounds here.
Target locked.
Okay. Decent damage to it. The Marauder moves now. And let's see what he does. Goes for the Bull Shark. He actually stray shots up here on the Atlas.
Losing armor.
Interesting. Okay,
Standing
well, the
by.
Boar's Head can step forward. Now, there's nobody really close enough for effective artillery placement here. I think we still go for the Pendragon. This guy's pretty dangerous.
Locking in target.
So we get some artillery damage in there. That's not the greatest, in all honesty, but it'll help. The bull shark moves up, and we're going to continue to hit that Pendragon. Now, our primary advantage right now is we have heat sink capacity on them, right? That's our primary advantage. We don't have cover, but they don't really have much cover either. So that's a solid hit on that Pendragon. He moves now. He's running hot, so he fires on the Salamander, which we can AMS some of that.
Commander!
And otherwise, the Salamander is pretty fresh, so that's okay. And the Pendragon's heat continues to build.
Go.
Interesting.
For orders.
So the Fafnir is going to want to move up a little bit over here. We're going to position it here.
Copy.
Its armor is still low, so I'm still going to Vigilance it. And we're going to hit this Marauder too with the MRMs. Not a huge amount of damage there, but it'll do.
Commander.
Now, the Salamander, it wants to move up over here.
Got it.
We're a little concerned about its stability, so I'm actually going to Vigilance it as well. We're running low on Resolve, so that's definitely something to think about. And we can hit this Marauder right now with either Improved or AX. AX would be dropping 20% hit odds. I think in this situation, especially with how low the armor is over here, we're going to fire Improved rounds.
Locked on target.
We didn't really get through that armor there. The clustering wasn't quite what I'd hoped for. So we would have been better off firing AX there. Sad. Phase 18, this is going to be the Grand Dragon, which moves forward and shoots at our Fafnir. Does not hit. Sounds good. Okay. The Rifleman moves up, shoots at the Fafnir. It does get a structure exposure there.
I'm taking internal damage.
Now that's a little bit unfortunate, but we knew that that was a possibility. With that torso, I mean, we do have UAC-20s to replace that
What
with,
can I
but
do for you?
it's not ideal. We're going to move the Mauler up,
Don't need to tell me twice.
and we could fire on their Marauder, we could fire on the Rifleman, which is out of range. We could fire on the Grand Dragon, the Longbow, and the Pendragon. All of those are out of range of the Heavy Gauss, so we're just going to fire on the Marauder, see what we get.
Time to die. Want some more?
We took out the right torso there. That's actually a pretty big deal. The Longbow moves up, and that should fire on the Fafnir, but it didn't. It didn't fire at all,
Aye, aye.
which I find very strange indeed. We're going to move up with the Annihilator here.
Wilco.
And the Annihilator is going to look to eliminate something. Hit odds are pretty good across the board, actually, with the exception of the Grand Dragon, but we're going to look to eliminate this Marauder. I don't want this thing to move.
Target confirmed.
Sadly, we didn't penetrate the central armor there. Yeah, there's still 87 there. That's a little unfortunate, but the Madcap Mark II can move up over this way. We would love to get up in front of the Fafnir. It's not going to happen, obviously. But we're just going to position up over here. And who do we want to fire on? Technically, hit odds mean the Longbow. We're splitting our damage a bit, but that's okay. That's some good damage to the Longbow there.
Commander.
The Bull Shark is going to step
that.
up. Now, who has already moved this round? Everyone except the Pendragon and the Marauder. Okay, we're going to continue hitting the Pendragon with artillery. Not the greatest of shots there. The Pendragon moves up. Goes for the Longbow of all things. Huh.
I'm taking heavy
I
hits.
definitely would have targeted the Fafnir, but it just failed a shutdown override.
Yes, Commander.
So the Boar's Head is going to step up here,
On my way.
and we're going to fire on that Pendragon. Can we get away with firing direct at this range? No, we're out of range of direct fire, but that's okay.
Affirmative.
That's a structure exposure on the Pendragon, and he's unsteady. So now the Marauder 2 is going to move. He moves up, Goes for the Fafnir. That's unsurprising. Solid miss. Beautiful. We're going to start pulling back the Fafnir in this next round, of course, but the longbow moves next, and the longbow is going to look for the kill on the Pendragon. This should, in theory, be a pretty simple kill. We didn't quite get the clustering we were hoping for there, but it's a pilot ejection. Beautiful. Okay, so next up is our Salamander. The Salamander is going to look to position in front of the Fafnir. We're going to position it here, and we're going to look for the kill on the Marauder. We're going to go ahead and fire improved rounds here, I think. Yeah, that should be fine. And we're going to Warlord this. And let's see what we get. A bunch of battle computer destructions there, as well as the jump jets. We made him unsteady. And there's basically no armor left there. The Fafnir, on the other hand, we're going to be pulling the Fafnir back. In fact, maybe even turning the rear arc. I mean, there is armor here. So we should be safe-ish doing that for now. Phase 18 is going to be their Grand Dragon. Okay. So, I mean, they only have 4 mechs left, right? The Grand Dragon fires on the Salamander. It does get a PPC hit there.
Damage is light.
Okay. Next up is our Mauler, which will work on closing in a bit. Emphasis on the bit. 38.2, 51.3, actually, on that longbow. Surprisingly good. We can boost that with Warlords to 57.9.
You betcha.
And that's 2 hits on that longbow. It really can't keep that up. The Rifleman moves up, fires also on the Salamander. They're really focusing that Salamander right now. Armor is dropping. That's to be expected.
That was a big hit.
The Salamander is taking point right now. The longbow is going to move up, and we are going to finish their longbow. That's the goal here. This should... Well, it may not actually get the kill, but it's going to do a lot to this longbow, no matter what. Engine destruction. Beautiful.
Mechs destroyed.
Okay, 3 mechs remain.
Yes, Commander.
The Madcap Mark II is going to position here,
Confirm.
and it's going to get the kill on the Marauder 2. There's no way around it. The Marauder 2 is dead here.
Give it everything I've got.
Okay. So we've got the Grand Dragon and the Rifleman to go.
That's a kill. I'm out of long-range missiles.
So we're going to move up with our Annihilator here. It was definitely sad that we spawned in a location where it was just basically impossible to get cover, but it's fine. We definitely took some damage,
Confirm.
but we're going to get some damage done to this Rifleman. Ooh, we actually exposed the structure there. I expected that to be pure armor damage, but okay, sure.
Right here.
The Boar's Head is going to move up.
I'm
These
dead.
2 are probably close enough to get some splash damage from artillery, so we're going to go ahead and fire on the Rifleman with our artillery as well.
Target.
Yeah, a little splash damage over there. Not a lot, but we got some.
Critical hit, Commander.
That Rifleman is not doing so well.
Standing by.
The Bull Shark is going to step forward,
Confirmed.
and we will drop additional artillery on that Rifleman.
We'll go.
Mediocre shot there with the Long Tom. We did get another medium laser destruction and maybe a knockdown? Yep, that's a knockdown. Beautiful.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so they move in phase 25, so the Rifleman instantly gets up. It's a little sad that it moved from 18 to 25, but sure. And then 20... Okay. So he called in an airstrike and then ejected.
Receiving you.
The airstrike is a little bit off from our position. So we're going to want to sprint the Salamander forward over this way to hopefully not be within that airstrike area. And... Wait, the Grand Dragon is calling it in? Maybe. I think the Grand Dragon is also calling in an airstrike. We're going to hit that with our MRMs. We're not going to do a ton of damage to it, but it's the only remaining mech, right? Okay. So, the Mauler is going to move up. We're trying to stay away from this area here. So we're going to fire... Actually, we can't fire on the Grand Dragon with the Heavy Gauss. So we're just going to chill for the moment. Now, the Fafnir is going to turn around and sprint out of this area.
Run, don't shoot. Got it.
We're hoping that that's far enough to not be within the airstrike area. The Bull Shark is going to move up over here.
On the move.
And we're going to fire on this Grand Dragon.
Copy that.
A solid hit there. Unfortunately, it does have that 40% reduction.
Waiting.
The Mad Cat Mark II is also going to move away from the airstrike area. And we're going to hit this Grand Dragon with as much armor reduction as we can. Its torso is definitely getting low. Okay. Got some damage in there.
Standing by.
The Annihilator will also head away from the airstrike.
Roger that.
And let's hit that Grand Dragon again. That's a structure exposure,
Take that.
so that's excellent.
C-10 ammo depleted.
And the Boar's Head is going to head out over here
Moving to position.
and continue to hit this guy with artillery.
Here we go.
Not the greatest artillery shots I've ever seen, but they'll do. Finally, the longbow is going to attempt to move... This is the furthest we can get. It's going to attempt to move out of the airstrike area. It's the closest mech we've got, and this is the furthest we could go. But we're going to fire on that Grand Dragon. This could, in theory, be a kill. And it is. But we need to get up here and secure the designated area. Here comes the airstrike.
Their airstrike.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'd hoped to be out of range of that.
One, I think.
But we're going to continue to move out over this way once we exit combat. Hang on. When we exit combat, the airstrikes shouldn't be a thing anymore, right?
Guys?
So here comes the second airstrike. That's hitting the longbow.
Reporting. Major armor loss.
These particle effects went away. Is it also going to hit the Fafnir? We're just chilling for right now. Did we break it? RogueTech, are you okay? We may have broken it. Yeah, we seem to be soft-locked. There's nothing we can do. Okay. Well, it is around time to put a cut in here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here. Oh, wait. Never mind. Fantastic. Okay, so we've exited combat now.
Moving out.
It took it a while to figure out what to do, but in the end we got there. So we need to make our way up over this way. Get out of this water. Is there going to be more airstrikes? Yes.
Watch the skies.
They're shooting at the longbow. I mean, we're out of combat,
Full hit. Bad one, I think.
but apparently this is still a thing. That wasn't that bad, in all honesty. But apparently this is going to be a while. Because this is taking a long time every time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here. And off camera, unless something major happens with these airstrikes, I suppose, we could theoretically lose the Fafnir and the longbow. But we could walk up over here off camera and, like, finish the mission that way. I don't know. I'd like to not do that. But if these airstrikes are going to take this long every time, We've still got several airstrikes to go through, I think. Now, they seem like they're only hitting the Fafnir and the longbow. Okay, there we go. So, we're going to vigilance the longbow to get rid of its instability, and then we're going to move it up over this way.
Confirmed.
The Mauler will come up over here. The Fafnir will come up over here.
Affirmative.
And now I think we're out of the airstrike area in total.
Confirmed.
I don't think that we get hit by any additional airstrikes. Yeah, we're just able to move now. So we don't need to put a cut in. That's good.
Roger that.
There was definitely a little bit more damage than I would have liked in some of those locations from the airstrike. I mean, I was hoping that we weren't going to get hit by it at all, but we did in the end. It wasn't that bad. Overall, our primary issue here was not the
Moving out.
enemies we were fighting against. We were able to deal with those pretty easily. It wasn't the airstrikes either. Our overall issue was the approach that we rolled up,
On my way.
which has nothing really to do with the difficulty. It's just that there was no cover available.
Copy that.
So we're going to move on up,
Moving to position.
and we'll just finish this
On
off,
my way.
since the airstrikes appear to be over. So that's good.
Roger. No
We can move pretty quickly when we are out of combat, of course. The Salamander is the one making for the actual point.
Moving to position.
If it spawns more enemies, which I'm actually not expecting, if it spawns more enemies, we'll put in a cut.
Affirmative.
If it doesn't,
On the move.
then we should be
Roger
fine.
that. Confirmed.
So up we go, and the Salamander will head on in and grab this. And the Scientist will board eventually.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. On it.
And the Mad Cat Mark II will move on up. There we go.
Moving to position.
Confirmed.
We have the asset, and we're out of here. Perfect. Yeah, it was definitely awkward when the airstrikes were just sitting there for like a minute at a time. No doubt about that. That was very awkward. I honestly thought for a second there that we would have to abort the mission and just exit and save scum it, essentially. It's not really a save scum if the game soft locks. There's not really a choice. But yeah, I mean, the longbow took a little damage there. We'll need to repair the enhanced LRM-15. The Fafnir also, I think, took a crit on the UAC-20. Yeah, so we'll have to do manual repair work on both of those. That's not a big deal, though. And restoring the armor will take some time, but overall, that wasn't so bad. Now, we kind of knew that that would be the case. I'm going to take an enhanced LRM-15 and an ELRM-20 here. We kind of knew that that would be the case. We got both ELRM-20s. That's really solid. The moment I saw the lack of cover on the approach, I was just like, this is probably going to hurt. And, I mean, it kind of did. The Fafnir and the longbow took the brunt of it, but there were other mechs that took a decent amount of damage. Most of those won't be too long to repair, though, and even the Fafnir and longbow, we got a little lucky with crits. There's no doubt about it. If we had lost those torsos, it would have been rough. Much more expensive. We would have been able to replace the weapons, but it would have been much more expensive and time-consuming to do. So that's absolutely fantastic. We're pretty happy about that. I mean, that was our first 10 skull mission. Granted, it wasn't a high compensation 10 skull. So we should definitely be expecting other 10 skulls to be harder than that. 500,077 days for the repairs. That's not strictly accurate. Go ahead and get that started, Yang, and we'll hop into the mech bay here and get these repairs done real quick. We've got 2 days left in the financial report. That's fine. Come on, mech bay, you can do it. There we go. Okay, so we want the Fafnir. We're going to stop work on that. Confirm that. Any moment now, mech bay. Oh, RogueTech. Okay, we also wanted the longbow. We're going to stop work on that as well. That was the majority of our repair costs. But let's hop into the Fafnir here, and we're going to refit that. Because we need to repair the crit, and we also need to restore the armor. So we're going to do that. We're going to repair that UAC-20 crit, and we're going to max out this armor. And did this actually max? Yes. Good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. That'll take 36 days. So the Fafnir is not going to be ready for the next deployment. That's fine. We have backup mechs. The AI seems to really like to target the Fafnir. And that's interesting. We could maybe think about giving it some damage reduction if that continues to be a thing. Or it could just be because we tend to have the Fafnir in front. Hard to say. We're going to get the enhanced LRM-15 repaired there, and then max out the armor on the longbow. Did this actually max it? No, it did not. So we're just going to max out the armors. And how maxed can we get the legs? The answer is pretty maxed. I also see we're missing a little bit in the CT here, for some reason. There we go. Is that all of the armor maxed? Yes, it is. So we'll validate that. That is going to take 19 days, so the longbow likely will be ready for the next deployment. Excellent. So we'll get that confirmed, and we'll manage these tasks. Yeah, we're going to focus on the Fafnir, the longbow, and the salamander, like so. And then it'll just be like that. Okay, so we're going to have to get those repairs done next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.